Roll.
Funny story about this knife. The SEALs didn't give me shit for working with them because I was only with them for a couple weeks out of the month, about 1 to 2 weeks on average. The Rangers, on the other hand, I was with them a lot. I would be there 7 days a week. I would get there at 6 a.m. and I would leave at 6 p.m. So this lesson is from the SEALs, lesson number 6. Oh, the funny story about the knife. This is a Ranger shield. They gave me this knife as I was leaving, and they said that they took the knife from a dead insurgent, and then they stuck this shield on it. I think it's pretty badass. It's a pretty dull knife to take from a dead insurgent, but hey, I'm not going to call a Ranger bullshit. So the lesson I learned from the SEALs is everyone can be a leader, but one person needs to call the shots. So with the Rangers, it was very clear who was in charge, who was in command, right? And you could really just look at the age of somebody. Like, man, you look like you're 18 years old. Okay, you are not a sergeant, right? Or, gosh, you look like you're 42 years old, or you look like you're in your 40s. You know what? You could potentially be a major. You are not a private, okay? So with the SEALs, it was very different. The SEALs are generally older. They're a lot more mature. They're going to be in their mid to late 20s, and then they could be active up until their 30s or 40s. Age still has a pretty big thing to do as far as the military is concerned, just based on, hey, if you've been in the military for 10 years versus 5 years, you're most likely going to be a higher rank at 10 years than you would be at 5 years. So with the SEALs, it was really interesting to watch the SEALs because you never knew who was the highest ranking SEAL. You never knew who was like, okay, well, which person is this rank and which person is that rank and who calls the shots here, right? So it was a totally different dynamic to see. The take-home point was that everybody was a leader. Everybody had a say in what was going to happen. Right, okay guys, here's our job. We need to go and do this. Okay, we need to take out this group of people. And here's the mission. And then they might say, yeah, but listen, hey, cool. What if we do this? Or what if we, hey, here's something that I observed, right? And so they had the chance to give their input. With the Rangers, it didn't happen. If you were a sergeant and you were explaining this mission to a bunch of privates, as a private, you were not allowed to. You could say, "Hey, Sarge, maybe we shouldn't do this," and at that point, you would get your ass kicked by the sergeant, right? So this lesson is really about you can have a lot of leaders, but you have to have one person that gets the final say. You have to have one person that calls the shot. You have to have one person that says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." Based on all of these great things that you told me. All this great information that you've given me, I'm going to use that information and I'm going to make the decision that's the best thing for the group, for the team. So I call the shots. We're all leaders, but I call the shots, right? So that was the big lesson from the SEALs, is that you can have multiple leaders, but you still have to have one person that calls the shots.